Welcome to the Bougie Coop, the podcast for backyard chicken keepers with tight spaces, big dreams, and a flair for the fabulous. I'm your host, Lisa Ronsky, and every episode we'll talk about all the quirky adventures of raising backyard birds with a bougie twist. I'll just say it up front, I'm proudly one of those crazy chicken ladies. When I brought home my first chicks, I had no idea how much they changed my life. These incredible birds have brought me so much joy, connection, and honestly, a whole lot of healing. So whether you're a seasoned hen tender or still daydreaming about your first coop, you're in the right place. This podcast is your comfortable, slightly chaotic guide to small space chicken keeping. So fluff those feathers, pour yourself something sparkly, and let's dive in. The Bougie Coop is proudly sponsored by Eden Feeds. Eden Feeds is a Montana-based company that was started in 2018. The founders were looking for high-quality, non-GMO feed that didn't break the bank. Unable to find what they wanted, they decided to make it themselves. Good stuff in means good stuff out, and Eden Feeds uses only locally sourced, Montana-grown grains in all of their formulas. It's a high-quality product at a great price point. My girls love it, and I know yours will too. Eden Feeds is available in the western U.S. at Murdoch's ranch stores and plenty of smaller local feed shops too. Check out EdenFeeds.com to find a location near you. It's that time of year again when the sun both rises and sets at what feels like 2 p.m. and you're doing chicken chores in the dark. The girls are not laying like they used to or not laying at all, and you're cold, grumpy, and wondering why you're still feeding and watering these freeloaders when they've clearly gone on strike. I get it. I have been there, done that. Ah, yes, the joys of winter chicken keeping. But right now, it's not that bad yet. Fall is the time to get ready for those long, frozen mornings, and today, we're going to talk about how to prep your coop, your run, and your flock before winter sets in. Cleaning out your coop and run is a must before winter. Things are dusty, and let's be honest, there's probably poop in places you didn't even realize your chickens could reach. So now's the time to scrub while the weather is still warm enough to do it comfortably. And please, when you clean your coop, wear a good mask and some eye protection. A respirator is ideal, but at the very least, wear a mask. I recommend an N95. Disposable masks are inexpensive and they can prevent some big problems like bird fancier's lung, histoplasmosis, or aspergillosis. These diseases come from breathing in coop dust, which is loaded with droppings, feathers, fungi, and bacteria. I'll drop links in the show notes for anyone who loves to geek out about and learn more about them. I know some think wearing PPE while cleaning a chicken coop is overkill, and to each their own, but as a vet tech, I've seen some of these diseases in real life. They are not fun. They take forever to treat, and the meds can get really expensive. Just do yourself a favor and wear the mask. Before you start scrubbing, let's talk about dust, because, oh, the dust. For a while, I tried everything. Microfiber cloths, hand brooms, dust magnet sponges, you name it. Nothing worked well enough. Then one day I snapped, grabbed my leaf blower, and hallelujah, it was magic. I put on my mask, my eye protection, make sure the girls are out of the area, and just blow everything out. Yes, it becomes a total dust storm, but it clears that coop out fast. Be mindful of the direction you are blowing all that dust, though. Blow it away from the neighbors, even if you don't really like them. I use sand in my coop and run, so I don't worry about it blowing away. But if you use hemp shavings or any lightweight substrate, wait until you've removed all of it before you start blowing things out. Speaking of substrate, if you're using hemp shavings, pellets, or anything organic for bedding, take it all out before winter and replace it with a fresh layer. Organic substrates should be removed and fully replaced at least twice a year, if not more often, depending on how soiled they get. If you use the deep litter method, obviously you won't be removing all of that, but make sure it's turned and managed properly. If you use sand like I do, give it a very thorough cleaning. I use my Coop Scoop for my daily cleaning, but when it's time for my big spring and fall deep cleans, I pull out my homemade sifter, a large plastic shovel that I drilled a bunch of small holes into. The sand falls right through and everything else stays behind so I can toss it. It takes a while, but it's worth it. I sift through every bit of sand in the coop and the run until it's spotless. Once that's done, I give the sand a good soaking with an enzymatic odor digester. I personally love the Carefree Enzymes brand. I'll link it in the show notes, but there are plenty of others that work just as well. In summer, I use a light spray once or twice a week, but for big spring and fall cleanings, I really soak the sand. Then, once that's dry, I apply a good layer of First Saturday lime everywhere. Barn lime works too if that's what you have. And while we're on the topic of keeping things fresh and clean, let's talk about ammonia control. Sweet PDZ is a great additive for that. It helps neutralize ammonia and keeps the coop smelling nice instead of, well, like a barnyard. Here's a little money-saving tip for you. There are 2 types of sweet PDZ you'll find at the store. One is marketed for horse owners and one is marketed for chicken owners. The only difference? The chicken version has smaller granules and a much smaller bag, but the price tag is about 4 times as high. I might be a diva, but I am not spending extra just because there's a chicken on the bag. The larger granules work just as well and your girls won't care. Save that extra cash for something fun, like another cute coop sign or a bag of fancy treats. Next, it's time to scrub everything. Feeders, waterers, roosts, perches, swings, all of it. Make sure your feeders are completely dry before refilling because you do not want mold growing in there. If your coop has windows, wash them and spray down and clean the outside of your coop and run too. My coop and run are painted to match my house colors. I live in suburbia and I just feel like it's important that where my girls live matches the neighborhood aesthetic. It gives the busybodies less reason to complain about my girls. Fall is a perfect time to touch up any paint that's chipping or faded. Not only does it look nice, it also seals the wood. In winter, exposed wood absorbs moisture, freezes, expands, and eventually starts to rot. We've all invested a decent amount of money into our coops. Take care of them with regular maintenance, and they'll last longer and look good season after season. Now's also the time to double check your predator proofing. Make sure all your doors and windows close securely and fix anything that needs repair. Locks, hinges, hardware cloth, all of it. Winter means less food for predators, and your flock really starts to look like an all-you-can-eat buffet. You can't stop a desperate animal from trying, but you can make it harder for them to succeed. Chickens are not cold weather birds, but that said, some breeds handle it better than others. Leghorns and other hard-feathered breeds with large combs tend to be less tolerant of cold, while fluffy breeds like Cochins are much more comfortable. Regardless of breed, make sure your chickens have somewhere to get out of the wind. Wind chill is brutal. If your bird's free range, shrubbery is great, especially evergreens that keep their leaves year-round. If you don't have shrubs, add a lean-to, a doghouse, or even a simple wall they can huddle behind. If your flock stays in their run most of the time, you'll want to cover the sides to block wind, rain, and snow. Some keepers wrap their runs with thick plastic sheeting. I live in a wind tunnel, so I use clear polycarbonate panels attached with washers, bolts, and nuts to the hardware cloth. They block the weather, let in the light, and last for years. They're more expensive than plastic sheeting, but they handle wind like a champ. If you don't already have electricity in your coop, but can get it there, do it, even if it's just a weatherproof extension cord. Having electricity makes life so much easier. You can run heated waterers, lights, or even a safe heat source if you choose. Even if you don't heat your coop, just being able to plug in a heated water is priceless when temps drop below freezing. The goal isn't to give your girls warm bath water to drink, but to keep their water from freezing. Most heated buckets, waterers, or bases keep water around 38 to 42 degrees, cold but still liquid. A quick warning, make sure you're using the correct heated base for your setup. Some can't be used with plastic waterers while others can. Always double check. And please, for the love of all things bougie, do not use a crock pot in your coop. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people suggest that. It's dangerous. Crock pots aren't designed for outdoor use, especially not in dusty or damp environments. You're risking electrical shorts, fires, and burns to your birds. Anything electrical that you use in or around your coop should be rated for outdoor use, period. It's just not worth it. Spend the extra few bucks and get the right equipment. A bunch of unintended fried chicken will ruin your day. When the temps drop, your flock will need extra calories, more protein, and more carbs. You can switch to a higher protein feed, toss them some extra black soldier fly larvae, or make your own suet blocks. Here's my go-to recipe. 1 cup of your regular feed, a half a cup black sunflower seeds, 1 cup of good quality scratch, a sprinkle of oregano and thyme, or whatever herbs you want, and 1 cup of bacon grease, tallow, or lard. Tallow and lard have less salt than bacon grease, but bacon grease tastes like bacon, and who doesn't love bacon? If you want to make it fancy, you can toss in a few freeze-dried fruits, just not too many. Be creative, but keep it healthy. Mix everything well, press it into 2 cake pans lined with wax paper, or whatever you have, poke a hole in the center so you have a place to hang them, and freeze. Once frozen, pop them out and hang them in the run or place them in suet holders. They're great enrichment and they provide the fats and carbs your girls need to stay warm when it's cold. So there you have it, your fall checklist to get your coop, your run, and your flock ready for winter. It's a lot of work, but when January rolls around and your setup is clean, dry, and running smoothly, you'll thank yourself. Being a bougie chicken keeper isn't just about cute coops. It's about being smart, safe, and prepared. Thank you for listening. Please share my podcast with anyone you think would like to take a listen, and always remember the golden rule of the bougie coop. Function comes first, but beauty should never be optional. Got questions? Hit me up at thebougiecoop@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow The Bougie Coop on Instagram and TikTok for more behind the scenes and chicken glam shots. Thanks for joining me, and until next time, stay bougie.